Hi, my name is Ludmila Fernanda Cordero Chudovska, and I'm going to present you my Endangered Species Project. This project is divided by 4 species. One that is extinct, one that is endangered, one that is critically endangered, and one that is vulnerable. So we're going to start with my extinct species. We have the golden toad. This was an amphibian. He was from Monteverde in Costa Rica and also found in Central America. He was about 2 to 3 inches. The men were mostly characterized by being a orange bright color, and the girls also were orange but not that bright. Okay, what was the status on the food chain? We only know that they ate insects. When did they go extinct? Well, these are 2 points. We know that the last seen was on 1989, but they were declared extinct until 2008. The sociopolitical and economic pressures that have caused the extinction of these species. Well, it was mostly because of the global warming and the destruction of alteration of their habitat. What are we as humans species doing to stop the loss of the species, or what we did to try to do it? Well, at that point, it was the Reserva Biológica de Monteverde. It was protected, but well, as we can see, it didn't help. Next, we have the critically endangered, and this we have the Philippine crocodile. As his name says, he was from the islands of Philippines. He was a freshwater crocodile, relatively small. It was about 10 feet, but the males were about 10 feet and the girls were a little bit smaller. They weighed about 190 kilograms, and the girls weighed 90 kilograms. They live like in areas like ponds, small rivers, marshes, lakes, and these were carnivore. Where do they live? As I already mentioned, they live in the islands of Philippines and mostly in lakes or small rivers. What is the status of the food chain? As we know, they are carnivores. They eat it between fish, shrimp, snails, crab, birds, snakes, and mammals. Their most dangerous predator are humans. So, how many are left? They're between 92 to 137 number of mature individuals. What is the major cause of the future dismiss? As we know, humans are the only predators of this species. They use them by skin trade. So, answering the question, we ourselves have gradually made the species extinct. The socio-political and economic pressures that have caused or are causing the extinction of this species. Well, as we already mentioned, the humans are the only ones that are attacking this species, so the unique pressure is the human involvement to its hunting. What will happen or has happened because of the loss of this species to the environment? Well, these species are affecting a lot of points, and if they disappear, will affect the recreational, scientific, spiritual, psychological reasons. What are we, as human species, doing to stop the loss of species, or what we try to do? Well, since 2001, the crocodile is nationally protected by 3 sources, and they were made responsible to the protection of the crocodile and conservation of their habitat. Next, we have the endangered species. This is the pale-headed brushfinch. These birds are from South Ecuador. They live in terrestrial areas. They feed on invertebrate prey, fruits, flowers during the rainy seasons, and the rest of the year they use a variety of fruits and seeds. Where do they live? Well, they are from South Ecuador. They live in dry, interminate valleys with areas of dense scrub and some artificial slash terrestrial habitats. What is their status on the food chain? Well, we know that his principally predator are caterpillars and winged insects. The social, political, and economic pressures that have caused or are causing the extinction of this species. Well, fires potentially threat the species, and the impact of management change or the new threat is reported to be rapid. This means that if this keeps going, it's gonna end really fast. What will happen or has happened because of the loss of this species to their environment? Well, it is affecting to a lot of points, like the residential, commercial development, agriculture, and aquaculture, and it's likely to that these points, if they don't return, well, it's more likely that they don't return. What are we as human species doing to stop the loss of the species, or what we try to do? Well, we are carrying some points that are the Action Recovery Plan, the Systematic Monitoring scheme, and the Invasive Species Control or Prevention. Next, we have the vulnerable species. I chose the reindeer. This is from the forest of grassland. It is used to the cold natural environment of the Arctic tundra. It is a large deer with a really long body and really robust, and he has a really short tail. He has large and wide grooves, and this is for an adaptation to search food and to move on. Where do they live? Well, as I already mentioned, they're from forest grassland, but they can also be found in Canada, Finland, Greenland, Mongolia, Norway, Russia, and United States. What is their status on the food chain? Well, they're herbivore, so they eat leaves, roots, tubers, wood, bark, and lichens. How many are there left? Well, we have the number of 2,089,400 mature individuals. The social, political, and economic pressure that have caused or are causing the extinction of this species. Well, it's mostly because of the hunting of these species and because they're destructing their habitat. What will happen or has happened because of the loss of this species to the environment? Well, it's affecting some various points like the agriculture and aquaculture, the energy production, the biological resource, and the human interactions. What are we as human species doing to stop the loss of their species, or what we try to do? Well, it only exists a national resource to help, but there's not a global. It is the Karma network, the Circum-Arctic Rainfever Assessment, Monitoring and Assessment. Okay, well, this is all from my part today. I hope that you enjoyed this video and this presentation and that you reflected a lot of things to carry these animals. Here are my references and thank you for watching.